Hi. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, welcome. Hi. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good.
How was your afternoon?
Oh, just got
Just like
got
went to the salon or whatever?
yeah, just got this coif done up a
Yeah.
little bit.
Freshly coiffed. You look gorgeous.
Thank you, thank you. Yes, and she trimmed off some dead ends, and I was like, "Woo!" Didn't realize there were that many, but
Probably feels so good.
it really does.
Yeah.
Yes. Hey, hear me roar.
Well, that's nice. It's always, when's the last time you went and got a cut? Has it been a while?
Yeah, it's been a few months. Yeah, it's been a
Yeah.
while.
Yeah.
Let's just put it that way.
I mean, I know that feeling of losing so much dead weight from your hair because I tend to go to the salon like once a year.
Yeah, yeah.
So there's always so much on the floor. It's kind of
Oops,
gross.
sorry. I was going to try
Oh,
to
that's
turn the
okay.
volume up, and then I just totally covered you all up. Um, yeah, I had to go to get my grays covered up, unfortunately. But yeah,
I
as far
think
as
you'd
like get,
look good with grays, though.
oh my gosh. Well, I'm not quite ready for that journey
Okay,
in my
that's
life yet.
fair. That's fair. That's
Just
fair.
not quite ready. But anywho, yeah. So, but yeah, it's been a while since I had it cut and all of that. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
always fun. Did you get your hair washed? Did you get that nice scalp
Oh yeah,
massage?
I got it all. I got a deep conditioner. I got a hair mask.
Yes.
I got a scalp
Yes.
treatment. I was like, give it all to me.
That is a long appointment, but it's worth it.
It was worth it. Yeah. Well, she called me and said, could you come in a little earlier? And I was like, well, yeah. And I was like, if I come in a little earlier, can I add a few things on? She's like, sure. And so as soon as I got there, I was like, load me up with the scalp
Do it all.
massage.
Let's
Yeah.
go.
I was like, are you taking notes? Let me tell you everything I need today. Okay.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah,
That's
she's
a good way to
great.
spend a Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, absolutely. So how about you? How was your evening or afternoon, I guess? It's like evening time for you now.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. It's been all right. Very lazy. It's rainy here, so that never really inspires me to do much.
yeah, I understand that for sure.
And I needed a little bit of a sleep in today after our epic recording session last night.
Ooh, I know, I
Yeah.
know. And it was later for you, but like I was so hyped up from it that it was hard for me to like fall asleep after that.
Oh, I was up
So,
till probably 1:30 or 2. Like that always happens to me after we do a live or we record. Like I'm so energized by it that it takes me a while to fully chill out.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a great time though. Anybody
It
watching, we were
was.
recording with the Talking Backwards guys last night and I think we were talking for about 4 hours. So,
Yeah. It was
yeah.
so much fun though.
It
Like
was
I just
great.
love talking with them. They are just so great.
Yeah. Always a lot of fun. It's going to be
Yeah.
interesting to see the editing process for this one.
I know. I'm so sorry.
No, I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to find so many gems on everybody's individual tracks and
Yeah,
yeah.
it's gonna be great.
Well, are you having a drink tonight or this
Well,
afternoon for you, really?
I thought about it and then I'll tell you what happened. So I came back from my hair appointment and I was like, I'm gonna take a short nap. And then I woke up and then I was like, oh boy, it's time. So no, I don't have one today, but that's okay. I'll have one in spirit with you. So
Okie dokie. Yeah, that's all right.
yeah.
Hey, I would take a nap,
Oh
like right at
man.
that point too. You get all that scalp massage. I mean, I almost usually fall asleep in the chair, so
Me too. Like when
do
she
not
was
blame
blow
you.
drying my hair, I was like, I'm sh but she knows this about me because it happens every time. Like the first time I went to her, I was like, just let me go ahead and tell you, A, I am not tender-headed. You cannot hurt me. So
Mm-mm.
pull the
Dig
tangle.
in.
Yeah, you're
Yes.
not gonna hurt me. B, cold and hot water. I am not sensitive to either one. I have had bright red hair and I have washed my hair in freezing cold water for a majority
Ooh.
of my life to keep it vibrant. And warm water does not bother me either. I was like, so don't worry
Yeah.
about that. I was like, and C, yes, I do. I nod off and I doze off while you are
That's
doing
so
things
funny.
because it
I
feels so good.
I always fall asleep at the massage part, but the blow drying, I'm always too fascinated by their techniques. Like I cannot stop watching because you get
Yeah.
home and you're like, I got this. And then you get poofed like to here because you cannot figure out how to do it the way they do
Yeah.
it.
You're like, I don't got this actually.
Mm-mm, mm-mm. I never had it. No.
Yeah, no, I know. I same, and that's why I just brought one of those blow dryers that is the brush. And I just
Right.
it just makes it so much easier because when I'm trying to blow dry and use a brush separately, I
Mm.
I just end up with like the brush over. It's terrible. So
Yep.
I just
Yep.
bought the brush that is a blow dryer, and that's it. That's
Smart move. Yeah.
yeah,
I need a new
yeah.
blow dryer. I've had the same one for like 10 years.
Oh my gosh, I'm surprised it's
Yeah.
still going for you.
It still works fine, which is why I never have traded it in because I'm like, I don't want to waste it. It's still fine. But I
Fair.
feel like there's probably better ones out there that I could get a better look with.
Yeah, yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right. Well, we're not here to talk about getting our
I
hair
know.
done. We're
Unfortunately,
here
yeah.
to talk about American Horror Story.
Woo.
Okay, since we're halfway through this
Uh-huh,
part
I'm
of
listening.
double feature. Yeah, no, that's fine. I figure we might as well just talk some overall thoughts, like right
Yeah.
up front, because, like I said, we are halfway through already. So, how are you feeling about Death Valley so far? We haven't actually really talked about it, so I'm so excited to know what you're thinking.
I know, which is surprising. Like
Yeah.
I know. I just thought that to myself today. I'm sorry, y'all. I have to plug my phone in,
Oh, that's
and I
okay.
have to put on the charge. So y'all might be like, what is she doing? This is what I'm doing.
All
So
good.
anyway,
All good.
um, yeah. So I was thinking that to myself today. Though I was like, I can't believe I haven't even brought it up. So I am loving, loving, loving uh, the alien theme. I've
Hmm.
always loved aliens. I've always just, I mean, like moving out here, I was just super excited to be closer to Area 51. It's so
Right.
ridiculous. Like,
Yeah.
I have to show you, like, I've had this fanny pack for so many years. I bought it in here because I wanted to show everybody that
Okay.
I have a fanny pack that I put patches on. And one of the first ones was this one that says Explorer.
Oh, a little higher? Yeah, okay. Oh my
and
gosh, that's great.
and it's a little
So cute.
spaceship. Yeah. So
Yeah.
anyway, so I was like, I have to show everybody that, obviously. And but I'm loving it. I love everything about it. I think that they're doing the past things amazing. I can't get enough of it. I really can't. Like, now the present day I'm having some issues with. I guess that's just going to come with it. Maybe I'm more fascinated in I guess the origin and like what started,
Right.
everything with the aliens and how they became part of society or whatever than I am with the present day. But also the actors and those things are taking me out of the present day things as well. So maybe we'll get
Yeah.
more, but yeah. So but I'm loving it. It's not enough for me to stop watching, so that's good.
Right. Yeah. I there's something about the stuff that's in black and white, the stuff that's happening in the past that feels more of a piece with alien lore and that kind of narrative. Like I think it's just working better. I mean, the cold open of Seven has like the Twilight Zone vibes. It's so good. Like I just think it fits better in that kind of world. Whereas, ooh, love the zoom in.
You know what? I'm not even going to tell you what's happened. So,
You lost the comments. I can see
I
them.
okay,
I
good.
got him.
Thank
I
you.
got him.
Also, my
Um,
phone keeps like it's going to go to sleep, so I have to keep touching the screen. It just, I mean,
that's
yeah.
really weird.
That's why I was
Shouldn't
like,
do
what?
that while you're like actually live and using it. That's
So
bizarre.
it is so weird. I don't know, but anywho,
Yeah.
yes.
But yeah, there's something that really works about that time period with just alien narratives. And then maybe it is the acting, maybe it's that we're so far removed from the origins of everything that it's just not as exciting. But I'm also really struggling with the present day stuff. And I don't want this to be the shit on Kaya Gerber hour, but like she's horrible. I'm sorry.
Not
She's
good.
just bad.
Yeah,
And
she's not good.
I've seen some criticism, not criticism, I've seen some reviews that have said like she's got talent in spades. And I'm like, what are you watching though? Like she's gorgeous, yes, but that's not enough. Like you can't carry a story being gorgeous. So
Yeah, yeah. I mean, listen, I agree. I don't want to, because I guess truth be told, there's been actors and actresses that have been on American Horror Story over the years that I have been like, this was not good.
for
Do we have
sure.
to talk about Gus Kenworthy in 1984? I was not a fan.
Yeah.
Um, but it is what it is. I think it was just like whoever was hot at the time. Sometimes they'll, cast them, and this is the repercussion of that. Is it's losing steam for me. I don't. It's just very hard to get involved in anything that she's doing. And again,
Yeah.
this is nothing against her. She's beautiful. But I think that she's got maybe talent somewhere else.
I
So
agree. Like, I wonder if they gave her just more, maybe more of like a Madison role, like just be a bitch kind of. Maybe that would work better for her because we've seen her try to do the more straight drama stuff, and that doesn't seem to be where her strengths lie. So
yeah,
maybe, or maybe more comedy. Like, maybe she'd be good as comic relief, you know? Like, that's not easy either, but again, maybe that's where she has more strengths.
yeah, yeah,
Um, but okay, I'm not loving it as much as you are, and I'm disappointed. I think that I went in with very different expectations and maybe higher expectations, just given how good those first 5 episodes of Red Tide were. And I
yeah,
think like I said, I think I was just expecting something different. I'm so here for the alien stuff. As I've already said, I'm into the black and white parts, the history parts, whatever. But I don't know. There's just something that's not working for me. It's not coming together. Like I didn't even want to rewatch episode 8 to take notes. I like really just read a review and was like, I've got enough from this. Like, so I don't know. I'm gonna try to go into 9 and 10 with not necessarily lower expectations, but just like, okay, this isn't what I wanted, but can I just watch it for what it is and forget about like maybe throw my expectations out basically. So I don't know.
yeah. Now I'm with you on that. I mean, this is no Red Tide, and
Uh-uh.
I will stand by my statement that Red Tide, aside from the finale of that part of the season, has been the best thing to come out of American Horror Story. I mean, since Murder House. I mean, nothing I
Yeah.
think is ever going to top that for me. But yeah, I I guess I should say it like this. It's not so much a disappointment for me. I kind of had, after what happened in the finale of Red Tide, I think I actually just kind of um, set myself up to go into it with lower
Right.
expectations because of
Yep.
what happened. And since I did do that, I feel like I'm a little bit more okay. But for me personally, all the history, I'm loving the fact that it's well-known presidents and it's like things like that. Like that's what's really interesting to me. And I think that is so interesting to me that it's a little bit easier for me to maybe forgive those present day
Right.
things, but that doesn't mean that I'm like I don't watch it in real time. Like I wait a few days before I watch it.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
was not like that with Red Tide. Red Tide, it was like tonight's American Horror Story night. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
I think that says a lot.
yeah.
Hear Me Roar said she would turn into a pale person if she took the pill, and I assume that we're talking about Kaya Gerber. So
I know. Bless her heart, but
bless her
she
heart.
would.
Yeah. I'm sure she's a very kind person with lots of other talents, but this ain't it.
This ain't it. Yeah.
All right. Well, why don't we talk about the credit sequence? I want to know what you think of this new sequence.
Okay, I don't mind it. I like it better than Red Tide because couldn't
Oh,
I just couldn't with Red Tide simply
right.
because of it was too much for me. Um the I'm gonna be honest when I tell you because you sent me that review. I don't know if this person was thinking of this when they made this comment, but the opening credits of Death Valley reminds me a lot of episode 8 of The Return of Twin Peaks. I
Really?
I get a,
Okay.
maybe it's just the movement, like that wasn't aliens. I'm not going to go into any more about The Return. I want people to
Yeah.
watch. But I mean, like, I guess just as far as like it being black and white, some of the themes in it, like the moving, I'm assuming that's intestines or whatever that is, but like the moving of that
Oh, okay,
reminds
okay.
me of what took
Yeah.
place in
Yeah.
part 8.
Okay.
So maybe that comment where you said someone wrote in that they were doing a nod to Twin Peaks, maybe they were talking about the opening
Maybe.
credits. Other than that,
Maybe.
it is not
I
nowhere
mean,
near
that
that.
review went on to say, like, oh, it's very David Lynch meets The Twilight Zone. And I was like, no, it's not.
No,
Have you seen
no.
anything by David Lynch? Have you even watched part 8 of The Return? I would love to know. But it was the
Right.
same review that said that Kaya Gerber has talent in spades.
Oh,
So we
okay.
clearly have a very different opinion than this person. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Um, so yeah, but I like it. I don't mind them. I can sit through them, and that's a good thing. I love
Yeah.
the I will tell you the very first scene though of that spaceship coming in and pulling the person
Yes.
up. I
Oof. Oof.
love
Them like
that.
sort of suspended in the air in the light. I love
Yes.
that too.
Oh,
Yeah.
I
I
love
really,
that.
really like these credits. I gotta tell you, I finally got my tentacles. I didn't get them with Ursula, but I got them here.
Yes, you did. Yes, you
And the
did.
way they're like slithering all over like the naked bodies is so haunting to me and so
Hmm.
gross, but in the best ways. Like, I don't know. I love all of that imagery so much. Same as you, the first image of the guy kind of being abducted, basically.
Yeah.
The one thing I'm a little disappointed about is that they made no changes to the actual music. Like, I think it would have been great to add a little bit of sci-fi, that classic alien sound to it. I mean,
Hmm.
they've done that with other seasons, and I was like, ooh, that's going to be good. Like, put a little theremin in there. That's like canon for the show. Theremin is a big thing. So, yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, they could have put a doo. Well, I can't do it, but like
Anything, but
it's
they
like
had it
that
at the
classic.
beginning of the episode, like the beginning of the of
Yes,
7. Yeah, it would have been
yes.
so good.
I agree. Yeah, so it's a bummer
Visually
that
great though.
visually great. It was
Yeah,
disappointing though that there was, because I mean I really liked the music to Red Tide because it had that violin bass to it, and that was haunting to me.
yes, yes.
So even though I didn't really enjoy those credits, I enjoy these credits. I just wish they had also done something with the music.
Yeah, yeah. I think it would have been a simple ad, but they did have to make like so many new credit sequences this year, given stories and then 2 separate credit sequences for double feature. So I don't know. We'll cut them some slack,
Yeah,
I guess.
I guess.
I guess. All right. Well, let's chat about episode 7. I mean, did you have, I don't know, like, do you want to just do maybe some highlights or things you
Yeah.
hated or whatever? Maybe I'll read. I don't know if you can see
Oh,
the comments again yet, but
not
okay.
yet, but yeah.
So
What's
Hear
up?
Me Roar says, "Oh, boo, I have to go to a family function. Gotta hop off. Love you gals. Can't wait to hear the rest on the
Oh,
recording. We'll enjoy
okay.
the family function, I
Yes.
hope, or like get through it somehow. And
Yeah.
thank you for coming anyway. Always good to
Yes.
see
Thank
you.
you. Bye.
All right.
Alrighty.
So yeah.
All right. So overall, immediately, uh, I mean, I guess I'm going to be probably repeating myself a lot here, but immediately starting with the black and white, starting with the time period, I was into it. Starting with the
So into it.
location, I was like, this is perfect. Okay, they're going to
Well,
do it justice.
and
Uh-huh.
sorry to interrupt, but while you're on
Yeah.
location, at first I was like, holy shit, this is part 8. But then I did the Googles and it's completely a different year. So that's when that
Uh,
went out of my mind.
okay, very good because I didn't even do that. So I just was like, but I don't know. Okay, I can't get caught up on the part 8 stuff because that kind of just blows my mind that someone would really think that this is very David Lynch
I mean,
anyway.
I
But
told you American Horror Story could never,
never.
okay.
Sorry.
Sorry. I just wanted to
Yeah.
touch on that before
No.
yeah.
Yeah, you're good. So, location, everything. I was like, great, they're going to do this justice. This is exactly when War of the Worlds and things like that would have been like coming, into play, etc. I loved the invasion of the housewife. I
Oh,
was here for that.
yes.
And the black and white. Okay, first of all, whoever that actress is stunning. But
Incredible.
and then the black and white, what she has, their outfit, and then with the white eyes, it was so visually pleasing to me. Like
Mm-hmm.
I loved it. I thought it was beautiful. Probably people are thinking like, I can't believe you would think someone getting invaded by an alien is beautiful, but it was just that. And then her rising, it was just
Yes.
everything I wanted. It was amazing.
There was like a touch of elegance to it somehow. And
It
I don't know if it's
was.
just her costuming, the shoes that she had on, and the way that she was lifted off the ground. It just, to me, I agree. It was beautiful.
Oh gosh, I watched that like several times. I was just like, this is amazing. And then when
That's
she
been my
shows,
favorite part so far, that whole
yeah,
cold
and
open. Yeah.
absolutely. So I really enjoyed that. Obviously, I really enjoyed the Eisenhower, all of that. I don't think I'd have to get into that because I'm just a real history nerd. So I just love
Okay.
all that anyway. Um uh I kind of love also the fact that this alien possessed housewife, which is amazing. An alien possessed housewife can just and bust your head open. I am here for it. It
I
was
love the
great.
movement of it. I love the style of kill. It looks really cool.
Yes,
Yeah, that was awesome.
absolutely. Okay, so that I enjoyed.
Hmm.
Do
Yeah,
you want me
same
to get
here.
into? Yeah, I
Well,
mean,
I mean, I'm trying to think of what, like, because I mean, like I just said, that's been my absolute favorite part so far. It actually, like I said earlier, Twilight Zone vibes. When we first got into it, I was almost like, this is giving me the Monsters Are Due on Maple Street vibes, which is an episode that we covered
yes.
last year. And so that was really great. I loved being in that world. And then what really caught my eye was there's so much circle imagery in this opening. Like we've got the record, the clock, then there's, oh my gosh, I have it written down somewhere. The record, the clock, there's a mirror that's in a circle shape, full moon. And I was trying to keep track of that throughout the episode. And then so I noticed, of course, like the golf ball and the hole on the green, right? But once we got into the future, or not future, but like present day stuff, I fully just stopped paying attention. But I
Yeah.
thought that brought it together so beautifully just to have all of those. Like, I mean, it's obviously UFO imagery in a way, right? Just to have those circles everywhere. So I thought that was beautiful. I mean,
Yeah.
I just don't know what happened between that scene and like almost everything else.
It's so true. It's so true. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, Oh, well, still within the past stuff though, I have to say I'm super disappointed about where this goes. We can get to that in episode 8, but I was immediately on board for Lily Rab as Amelia Earhart. That to me was so cool. I mean, because I think that that is another story in our history that has so many conspiracy theories surrounding it, or it has like people have different takes on it, right? And
Hmm.
so I thought that was such a neat thing to bring into the conversation. And apparently, the place that they maybe found Amelia Earhart's remains, supposedly, quote unquote, whatever, was at one time called Gardner Island. So that gets me excited that there's going to be some kind of tie-in between Red Tide and Death Valley, but I don't know if that's just another little, oh, that's cutesy, a little nod towards, the seasons, because they do
Yeah.
that throughout the show and things aren't always overtly connected, right? But
Right.
anyways, I loved her. I loved that also the president was just like immediately on board for it being her as well. We didn't have to sit through the like, well, I don't know, how could it possibly be her? Like the guy does bring it up, but then he's like, no, I've seen the picture, that's her.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, it was. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm just here for this actor that's playing Eisenhower. He's
It's great
amazing.
casting.
The casting for the past is phenomenal. I
It's
mean,
really
honestly,
good.
it is
Yeah.
phenomenal.
Like I went and
Yeah.
looked up pictures of Ike and Mamie, and it is like the hair that they have going on for Sarah Paulson is
Yes,
so good. It's hideous,
absolutely.
but it's so good.
I know. I
Yeah.
know. Um, Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, that's pretty much, I feel like that's all I really, really liked about it. Again, like I feel like we could go on and on about the stuff that's in the past, excuse me, that's in the past, but that was the highlight. So,
Yeah, yeah. Um, okay, so we can talk about the dislikes. This may be super controversial, but I don't know if I was here for the Amelia Earhart things.
mm,
Not because I, I think maybe it's because I have always been super obsessed or like very interested in
okay,
this story of Amelia Earhart and what happened to her that I kind of don't want it in the American Horror Story.
that's fair.
Maybe that's what it is. I don't. It's not Lily Rabe because I love her and think she's fun. I love her as Amelia. I mean, I think that
Hmm.
that's great. I just immediately was like, I don't. And she's having a baby. I just was like, no, let's kind of.
Okay, that's
You know
fair.
what I mean? I just kind of
Yeah,
was like, I'd like for that to stay out of American Horror Story.
I
I
get
I
that. I have
understand
something
where.
similar with that in episode 8, so I totally
Okay,
understand where you're coming from.
yeah, so I that's just something where I was like, I mean, I don't hate it by any means, but it's just where I'm like, could do without that. Um, and I just honestly could not. The only, I guess, fun thing about the present day with these kids was when the losing time happened for them. That was maybe the
Right.
only part that I liked, and really the only things that I liked were just the car scene where all of a sudden they were all in different seats and the one
Yes.
friend was like out totally outside of the car. I
Right?
liked that. Nothing else. And I really don't want to sound like an old lady here, but I just don't think that the youth of today talk the way.
I texted this to you as well, right? Like I feel like this is
Yeah.
one of the things that we talked about. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, but like I think it probably does exist. It's probably true that you can be allergic to somebody's spludge, but I don't need Attack of the Killer Spludge in American Horror
No.
Story. It
Yeah. The dialogue was
was
so
so
cringe.
stupid.
I
Ugh.
hated it. I really did. I hated
Yeah.
it. It was
Yeah.
so
Their
unnecessary.
whole
There
dinner
was
scene was bad.
Yeah, it went on too long. And I don't understand. And I guess the Luddite or whatever it's called, like I suppose that maybe will somehow tie into
It has to.
the technology, sure, but
Yeah.
you cannot convince me that someone that would be Kendall or Kaya would be buying into this way of life at this age and
And it's
all
also,
and everything.
yeah, it's like her friend says, though, like you're in medical school. What the hell
Right.
would you be doing without technology in this day and age?
Give
It
me a
is
break.
really silly. They should have given that angle to somebody else, but I think that they wanted to do this creepy thing between her and her teacher, who is clearly a fucking predator. It's gross. I don't need to see it. But that was a thing I think they wanted for her to have, like, but yeah, it could have, like, give it to, how about maybe I think it's Troy, who already started talking about, like, well, on Saturdays we don't even use technology, that's a Jewish practice. That might have fit in a little bit better, I think. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know. I also agree that I don't think people this age, especially at such high level universities, where I think it's actually so stupid that you wouldn't even use email. Like,
Right.
how we had to email each other the other day because WhatsApp went down, and I was like, we might as well be sending each other fucking snail mail at this point. Like,
I
email
was
is
like, what
old
year is
school. Yes.
this? It went, but you're right. And like, it it was just silly. And then for
It
her,
was, yeah.
like after the whole thing where she was like calling and asking permission to Google something, I was like, give me if
Ew.
you just
Ugh.
had what you think was an alien abduction or an alien experience, I do not think I would be calling anybody asking them permission to look up anything on the internet.
Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm.
Okay,
No.
no. It's just it's foolish to me and it doesn't land and I don't like it.
Yeah. And I mean, I think that there's something to it because technology is obviously an overarching theme within this half of double feature. So I think they were trying to maybe bring in another angle. There may be something about her taking on this way of life that comes up later in the season, in the 2 episodes that we have left. But I guess because when I was watching that, I was like, all right, well, this is going to play into something. Like this would not be such a big conversation, especially since like the technology wouldn't have saved them anyway had they brought it. Like we saw that even the car's technology wasn't working. So this has to mean something more, unless of course it's the Lyme disease and ticks from Red Tide, which will never play out, but you know, whatever.
Yeah,
But then when we get to episode 8 and we realize that technology is a really big part of what's going on, there's something there. It's just like the execution of it so far has been really piss poor, like just so dumb.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
this is my note. I hated the way that they did those like case file things to introduce all of the 20 somethings. I mean, it could have been cuter had the rest of the episode gone in a different direction, but it kind of, I think, was foreboding for the rest of what was to come. But my note literally says Cal sucks, Kendall sucks, Troy's whatever, Jamie is less offensive
That is,
until Attack of the Killer Splitch.
yes, yes. I mean, let's come on now.
Yeah.
I don't even want, I honestly don't even want to talk about the dinner scene because I was just like, I
Yeah.
will never watch this again in my life. Like,
Nope.
never in my life.
I
It's
skipped it on
terrible.
second watch. So, yeah.
Do you want to know how bad I hated it? I would rather watch an episode of Cult than watch that again.
Oh, damn. Yeah,
I just,
that's
it was,
damning.
I just didn't like it because, I mean, I know I'm not that age anymore and I'm older and obviously whatever. Even if someone is having a conversation like this, it's not in a restaurant setting. It's just it was cringe and it was wrong. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It just
Yeah.
wasn't.
But I think
Yeah,
there's a way for younger people to be portrayed as very sex positive and open and this kind of thing
absolutely.
in a way that isn't cringy. And I don't think we hit the
Exactly.
mark here. So,
No.
yeah.
No.
What I did like, if we want to move on to their camping trip, on
Yeah.
first watch, somehow I missed the fact that they went to, I guess they were calling it a pond. So on their first day out there, they went to the pond. They were like tanning on the rocks and whatever. I somehow missed that the first time. So on the second day when they walk out there and there's nothing there and there's just desert, I was a little confused. But I actually, I mean, obviously when I watch the episode properly and pick up on the details, I liked that. I liked that little mystery. That was interesting to me, especially since I also think somehow we're playing with time here in this season a little bit. I mean, we get the reverse of the clock in the cold open in 7. They're going to lose time later when they're in the car. So that was all kind of vibing nicely together for me, but it's a very small piece of what
Yeah.
these 4 were up to. Yeah.
Yeah. I like that too, though. I mean, and immediately, like we as the audience know like what's going on because we know their location, like the Joshua Tree, like that all that
Right.
area down there, not far from part of Area 51, or not
Yeah.
far from it. So we know, but I love just watching that. That was fun, and it's just, I guess, I hate to bring it up again, but it's too unbelievable to me that Kendall is the smartest one out of the group.
Oh my God.
I hate to say that, but like even the way she finds the cows and tries to reason with it doesn't fit. Does that make sense? Like it
No, but
just
she also has such a non-reaction to the fact that there's all of these
right
bisected cows out there. Like,
that are still alive.
yeah, there'd be blood. Okay, great. Thanks for the
Not
recap.
good. It's not good. I
No,
hate
it's really too bad. Because that scene, I think, should have been so like, oh my God, what the fuck? Like, what
absolutely,
is the deal with this? Like, what's going on?
absolutely.
I
Yeah,
actually still don't really get what that means, which I'm kind of into the mystery of it, but yeah.
yeah,
And I guess we kind of talked about this already, but I agree. Like, I like when they were trying to drive away, and all of a sudden they've all swapped positions in the car. The one friend is totally outside the car. What does that mean? Why was she totally removed from the car? All of that stuff
yeah,
is interesting for sure.
yeah. Yeah, I do like that because that is building, a mystery for us. Like, especially when we get into 8 and we see a little bit more of whatever this facility is. But I mean, so it builds a little bit of
Right.
mystery of, okay, well, they all do fall pregnant, as my grandmother used to, she fell pregnant. Um, they all fall pregnant. Um, but is there something about Jamie though that is going to be a little different because she was out, not returned to the car? So I love
Right.
thinking about
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
those little details are fun. They're, I think,
yeah,
what's keeping the season interesting enough.
yeah.
And hopefully they're not just dropped threads like so often happens
I
on American Horror
hope.
Story.
Yeah, I hope
Um,
not.
Speaking of the fact that they're all pregnant, I was kind of here for that too, because I don't know that I've ever seen anything where it's not just women being abducted. And
Right,
maybe
right,
I
right,
just
right.
haven't seen enough of, alien stories, alien narratives, whatever, but I was like, cool. So this
Yeah.
means that however they're impregnating people, it has nothing to do with a womb. It is just something so outside of what we know as humans. That's another little detail that that was keeping me going with everything. So,
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't know if a lot of people like that idea of it being non-gender related as far as like
hmm.
who they can impregnate or whatever, because I just read some things on Reddit where people are like, oh, the it just is so, this is what kills me, is that people will get on there and say it's so unrealistic
Oh
that a
my
man
God.
that a man would be pregnant. And I want to comment and say, you are watching a television show about an alien abduction. Can
That's
you
your
tell me
sticking
what
point?
what
Like,
part of that is realistic, please? Thank
yeah.
you. But no, I agree. I like it too, that it's not just the girls, the
Yeah.
females that are going to experience a pregnancy. I'm here for it being a male too, if only
Sure.
to say, now a male will understand.
Yes.
Just kidding.
Although I think the birth for them is going to be different, and we can talk about that in 8, but I'm terrified for these men. I'm terrified for I'm terrified for all these people. Like, this is
Yeah.
horrible. Aliens have actually, raped them essentially. So
Ugh,
it's
yeah.
terrifying. But
Yeah.
I feel like that's all I've got for 7. I mean, obviously great to see Sarah Paulson again, but she had such a little part in this, so there's not much to say.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm good on 7 too. I really want to talk about 8.
Okay, all right. Oh, one thing I should say, I mean, this comes up in both 7 and 8, but I love when, uh, I guess just the I'm not sure, when they speak from whoever they're inhabiting, because to me, it sounds like it's a lot of the cast members all do it, like it's like a chorus of everybody, because when it was inside, what was her name? Marie or Mary or something, like the
I
first
say Marie.
woman.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, like I mean, I was like, I feel like I can hear Sarah, Leslie, Lily. I feel like I can hear all of these women, and it was just really beautiful. Again, in that weird way that we both found that scene so beautiful, there was something about the voice that was
Yeah.
so
I
auditorially pleasing.
love it, was because it was oddly soothing. And that's what I
Yes,
liked. Like,
which probably purposeful, right?
oh,
Like,
yeah. I'm
yeah,
telling you, that was done chef's kiss. Like,
agree.
honestly,
Yeah.
so great. So great.
Yes. Okay, well, why are you so excited about episode 8?
Okay. What I'm excited about is obviously more of the past things, and I actually wasn't too upset at the present day. I'll just go ahead and give like everything up front, and then we can,
Yeah.
because it's sort of a seesaw with a lot of it. So off the bat, first thing I want to say is, I also don't need like Steve Jobs at the facility.
Also, why though? Like, what?
The only thing I can think of is that for some reason, because he is the person that invented Apple or whatever, this technology, that he is
Hmm.
somehow, maybe
Okay.
he's not dead. He was taken back
Yes.
to this facility for technological reasons. I
Okay.
don't.
That I can get down with because when I first saw him, I was like, well, he's clearly not being used as a test subject because he's not all
Right.
in white, right? But I was like,
Right.
but if he is and they have him in like the classic Steve Jobs outfit, it's because you think your casting was so shitty that nobody would know it was Steve Jobs unless you put him in that fucking turtleneck. Like,
It's true. It's true. It's
but
very
I
true.
think that's smart. Like, either he is an alien or he's been inhabited by an alien, or excuse me, yeah, like they are working with him for tech reasons.
Yeah,
That does make sense. Yeah.
it does. But at the same time, I was just like, come
Yeah,
on,
could do
enough with
without.
this
Yeah.
hokey stuff, right? Like, just we don't need this. We only have 2 episodes left. Don't fill my
Yes.
time with this.
Yes.
I
Thankfully it
do,
wasn't too long, but yeah.
yeah, yeah. I do love Calico, or I guess is that her name?
I think
Or
so, yeah.
yeah, Calico. I'm sorry, I'm so bad. I didn't write names down. I actually wrote Leslie, and I was like, why
Um
didn't I?
yes, Calico.
Yeah, okay. I love whoever this is. She's obviously been there a long time. I'm digging that and this is what I was talking about as far as like who's in this test facility. What role do they play? Because she's been there. Does that mean that she was there to help populate these hybrid baby alien or human aliens, or is she something? So that was great. Like, I loved the introduction of Calico. I think this is going to be a great role, and it doesn't seem like it's that normal Leslie role,
Exactly.
and
That's
that's what
why
I
I'm
like.
liking it. Yes. Yes.
Exactly.
As much as I really was digging Ursula, that kind of went downhill in the finale, but I still thought that was a great character. It is fun to see Leslie do something different, and I'm looking forward to spending more time with that character. Like, I just don't feel like we got enough yet, but there was enough laid down for me to want more. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I'm kind of into this, whatever this facility is.
Hmm.
Um,
Where do
I
you
have
think it is? Like, do you think it's on Earth or
It would have to be. And
think
I'm
so?
just to be going with the cliche, not the cliche, but the stereotype, I guess. It's probably underground at Area 51
I
or
was gonna
somewhere like
say Area
that.
51.
It's in the desert
And if
underground.
it's not, then it's got to be on whatever planet these aliens come from, maybe because they have the right tech there. But I mean, now we're in the present day stuff, so they have
Right.
probably taken all of their tech down to Earth. So the Area 51 thing does make sense. Yeah.
Yeah. But I actually liked that. Of course, I, again, we don't have to talk about it, but I not, so what that, like Kendall would be the only one that woke up suspended in air. And
Just looking fabulous too. I mean,
well,
perfectly brushed hair,
she's
beautiful
gorgeous.
headband. Yeah.
But that was so cliche to me, where I was like, okay, now we're getting into this, the cliche of like you're in a very sterile white room with a
Yes.
spa headband on, and I was like,
Yes.
there's couldn't we do it a little different where it looks like they've been roughed up and they're like,
She's got that alien baby glow though, you know?
pregnancy glow.
Pregnancy glow, that's what I mean. Yes.
Yeah. So I was fascinated to see the other people like in this cocoon phase. That was
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah.
Um,
Love that they're raised up similar to what we've already seen with whoever's being inhabited being raised up too. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I'm trying to go through the present day things that I enjoyed. Also, I will just tell you, okay, this ultrasound scene. Okay,
Oh my
let me
God.
let me see if I can. It's an accelerated pregnancy. We already knew that from Amelia.
Yes.
We already knew that was going to happen.
Right.
Um, so that was fine. Okay. Uh, it was just very odd that a Kendall would use the technology of an ultrasound machine without asking somebody. First of all, second of all, where is the baby in the mid? See, this is where it's just
Right.
like in the abdominal cavity, I suppose. So I guess I say that to say when we had the flashback of Amelia with the baby, there was blood everywhere. She was in the classic like giving birth
Yes.
position. Maybe they've come a long way, and maybe now they can uh, plant the seed in men or male bodies now. Maybe they've come along with technology, but
Maybe they
that
weren't doing
just
that the whole time. Yeah.
right. But that just didn't. I didn't get that because yeah, it was just weird. That whole
Yeah. I
ultrasound
mean,
scene though.
that's kind of what I like about it is that I'm like, okay, I want to know more about like how can they impregnate just anybody? How is that even working? I'm concerned that we're never going to get those answers, and that's just supposed to be a thing that we're like they can impregnate anybody, which okay, I'll have to deal with that, but I still find it interesting just because like I said before, never seen a dude get abducted and impregnated by aliens, so kind of here for it.
Well, I have something to tell my man. It's called a C-section, sweetie.
Well, that's what I
Okay.
was thinking the whole time. I was like, how many times are you going to ask? Like, have you never heard of a C-section? Also, have you never seen like the movie Alien? Because it could be that kind of thing. Like,
Pretty sure it's gonna bust out of your cat. I'm pretty sure it's gonna bust out of your abdomen. That is why it's a one and done
I
situation.
mean, it's going to be your abdomen, your mouth, your butt.
Oh God, not the butt. But I was just like, my man's a C-section. Let's think about
He's
this,
smarter than
okay?
that though, too. Like, he goes
I,
to Princeton, Harvard, or Yale, whichever one he was at.
right.
Yeah.
He's Ivy League. Like,
Yes.
let's get it together, sweetie. You
He should have
know.
known better. Yes.
Yeah, so that and Angelica Ross, obviously, I'm very glad to see her. I was fascinated to see what this hybrid alien baby looks like.
I laughed.
It's ridiculous, but it was fascinating. It's
Yeah,
ridiculous
yeah.
because it looks like something that I don't feel like there's a lot of imagination to it.
Yes.
There's like
It
a big
felt
alien eye and then a human face. Yeah,
it felt
yeah.
kind of like B movie horror to me, which I love a B movie horror. Like I'm here for it, but I am okay to laugh at that too because
Yeah.
I mean if that's the reaction that you're trying to elicit from me, great. I also was wondering maybe she was not a failed test subject, but kind of still like a middle of the road example, like they still haven't perfected it. Because if do these hybrids, do they want to live on Earth or were they saying that like Earth is too fucked up, we don't want to live here. We just need something that's more adapted to surviving on our planet. I actually like I was probably not paying attention. So I don't know if you have clearer idea of that, but
Yeah, I'm getting so this is what I gathered from in the past when Marie came back into the
yes,
room,
into like that
which
meeting or whatever.
which beautiful again. I love it. So
Yes.
she comes in. I love that also. I mean, a squirrel, but I just love how they're like, oh, by the way, she left her cell. Like she just could have been leaving this whole time.
The
But
whole
anyway,
time. Yeah.
that's besides the point. Um, but she does come in there and say it's too contaminated. But she says with our technology, we can get there. So that's why I'm confused. Uh, what I'm thinking is that they've spent all this time making Earth what they want it to be. Like their planet is no longer like they can't do it there.
Okay.
And so, but in order for them to survive here, they have to create the hybrid with the human who has the immunity and all of this stuff to fight off
Mm.
the viruses and diseases and things like that. But as far as like brain capacity or whatever that might be, like that would be what they're doing. I don't know. That's a
I think
shot in the dark.
no, I think that's a fair reading because there was something that I'm remembering something about like their planet is no longer viable or something.
Right.
But in order for them to like they want to save their species, but in order for them to do that, they can't just be them on this planet. Okay,
Right.
fine. So yeah, so I think that that still stands then that maybe Angelica Ross's character, which is her name is apparent or their name is apparently Theta, which
Oh,
I
I didn't know.
yeah. And I was like, I want her to be the chemist though. Like I just want you to be the chemist and I want this to fucking tie in. But yeah, so I
When
think that
we
was
saw her,
maybe
though, yeah,
yeah.
when we saw her, I was like, "This is the chemist in the future, or something."
I
That's
mean,
all
you
I
could
could think
tell it was
of.
Angelica Ross's voice. So I was like,
Yeah,
fuck yes. Like this makes so much sense. This is going to be great. But I mean, yeah, so she's probably just like a middle of the road kind of thing where like they still haven't perfected it, but she's still in a kind of a similar position though to the chemist. And since we never learned the chemist's actual name, I am still kind of holding out hope that this is somehow her.
She could have had, listen, they had veneer fangs or whatever. Like they had in the last season. She could have
Yes.
some kind of disguise to cover up her bulging eyeball. Okay. Anything's
Um,
possible.
I'm so sorry to the person in the audience, whatever that has said this. I'm not sure what your actual handle is, but thank you for letting us know that you're enjoying a damn fine cup of coffee right now. That's
Oh,
great.
all
Yes,
right.
good for you.
Nice.
Love it.
Cheers to
Yes.
ya.
Cheers. Cheers. Cheers.
I have my mug back here,
I
so
know I can see it.
but yeah, so it I mean, I'm interested to see because I'm also wondering because it seems to me like Angelica Ross is also typecast into a certain role because when you look at her in 1984, she was a
Yes.
she was a villain but then turned into a savior type.
Mm-hmm.
And then this, you could say the same for the chemist. I think it started off a villainy, but by the end, she was like, I don't know, I got to get out of it. Like, this is not right. So I'm
I
now
would
wondering
also
if,
consider her methods for getting rid of shitty cops to be some kind of a savior.
well, exactly, yeah.
Yeah,
And I'm wondering though, just by the way that she treats Kendall, or Theta, I guess is her name, treats
I
Kendall in
think.
this. Well, it almost seems to be that way as well, where, well, she's this creature type thing, but she almost like wants to help the people that are, this is being done against their will, because she's even telling her like, hush, don't say these things, the thing inside you can hear you, and then she like puts her back to sleep, like
Yes,
she,
she does feel very gentle.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So just makes me wonder if it's a typecast for her type thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it could be. As much as I laughed on the reveal, I did think I was like, it's actually really fun to see a relative newcomer be the one that takes on this like holy shit, like that's what you look like now. Like I feel that maybe in the past with American Horror Story that would have been one of the, maybe not like
Season.
a Sarah Paulson, but something like probably a Frances Conroy maybe,
Mm-hmm. Yep,
yeah.
yep, yep.
um okay, what else? I
Oh,
asked you
I
about
will tell
this.
you
Yeah.
this. I, so when we were in the past, though,
Yeah, we haven't really talked about that at all with episode 8, so
again, the casting is really great. Uh, maybe this is going with the conspiracy thing as well, but I don't know if I'm digging that JFK was assassinated over knowing about the aliens.
hmm.
I also did absolutely um okay, let me see how I put this. I thought it was a cool twist, but I don't know if I appreciated it. That
Okay.
was also why Marilyn Monroe died.
Right.
Because a lot of people say she was
Well,
assassinated, or
I would I would like to say this though, that I mean, it is American Horror Story. This is a fucking show about supernatural stuff, but Marilyn Monroe would have been dead already in 1963. Sweet baby girl died in 1962. So there's that. But anyways, like I'm not looking to American Horror Story to be like the historically accurate show or documentary or whatever, but I thought that was kind of interesting and I wonder if they're trying to say something with that will lead somewhere, but yeah.
I mean, I'm thinking that they might. I think that they were just probably trying to rev up that conspiracy that JFK told her so much information because they were in an affair together that she had to be taken out because of it. I don't.
Right. I mean, I'm in general kind of over JFK and Marilyn Monroe being used so often in
Same,
TV.
same.
It's been done so often that yeah, I think
I'm
I'm just
good on it.
I think I
Yeah.
just have a lot of fatigue for that kind of stuff. I will say I was like, I thought it was cute enough where it was like, okay, that's an interesting twist. He knew about aliens. That's why he was assassinated. And to me, I was almost like, did Nixon do it? Because
Listen,
he was so nervous about him going public, which I thought that was funny. But again, like, could do without, would rather do without, like, stop using JFK and Marilyn Monroe. Why are we collectively so obsessed with this?
because it's an unsolved thing. Well, I
Right.
mean, if
Yeah.
and I say that to say nobody believes that Lee Harvey Oswald
Right.
assassinated the president, and no one believes that Marilyn Monroe
Yeah.
overdosed.
Yes. Yeah.
But yet, but it's enough. you know, I agree with that. But I was gonna say I wouldn't put it past Tricky Dick. All right, listen, they didn't call him that for
I
nothing.
mean, I think that's the part that I kind of most enjoyed about it is that they set up this kind of paranoia from him in terms of JFK going public. And then, like, in the next scene, they're eating their fancy Salisbury steak out of a microwave. And then we get the news, right? And I was like,
Yeah,
okay, this is
yeah,
interesting. But again, could do without. Yeah.
yeah. I'm gonna be honest. I don't think I'm here for Mamie being
Okay.
inhabited.
Right.
I don't I don't know why.
Okay.
But I didn't get the same feeling with her being occupied by this alien spirit as I did the other
It
person.
it did feel a little like okay, like that kind
But
of
when
came from
but when and
nowhere.
how and where it doesn't. Yeah, I don't.
And it
Because
kind of excuses Ike's decision, I guess. Like it gives it emotional weight in a way because we learned that the reason that he probably made this treaty was because of her, right? Like being inhabited in this way, but also like yeah, I don't know. It didn't necessarily land for me either.
yeah, it was just
I did,
odd.
but I am here for that like visual of the women being lifted off the ground
Yeah,
while they're speaking in that way. Like I still find that so fascinating, but it literally could be anybody.
at this point, right? Yeah, and
Yeah,
maybe that's why it didn't have. I, I don't know. Maybe if Mamie had been the first person it happened to, maybe it would have
it would be different.
felt
Yeah.
different. Yeah.
Yes. Well, I'm
So
also really concerned that like okay, so we've lost Lily Rabe, whatever. We've lost Lily. We should just be on a first name basis at this point.
we've lost
We've
Lily.
lost
Yeah.
Amelia Earhart, and that was really quick. And that was kind of a bummer for me. I know it wasn't your favorite thing really so far, but I was digging it. I was sad that she was gone so early
Oh,
on.
I was sad too. Don't get me wrong. I mean, like, yeah, like I felt really.
I was
Yeah, I
like,
did
it's
feel
too
very sad.
soon. We're still grieving Doris. Like,
Yeah, I was like, she got shit on twice in this season of American Horror
and she
Story.
pretty consistently gets the shit end of the deal in these seasons. Like, I
It's
really feel
true.
for that actress, but
I know.
I'm hoping that there's something where she comes back somehow. I mean, there's 2 episodes left. I probably won't be fulfilled in all of these hopes and wishes, but whatever. But to the larger point here, like I also feel she was wasted so far anyway. I think that Sarah Paulson's character is kind of being wasted.
Me too.
It was the conversation between her and Nixon is fine. It's more interesting later when you realize that it probably wasn't exactly her having that conversation, but she seems so background to me, and it really is these kids in the future. Kids, I shouldn't say kids. It's these 20 somethings in the future plot, the present day plot, whatever, that are really getting the screen time. And it reeks a little too much of American Horror Stories, honestly.
Same. Yeah. It feels that way. It really
Yeah.
does. Yeah.
Especially coming off of Red Tide, where we had Sarah Paulson, Frances Conroy, Finn Whitrock,
Evan.
Lily. I mean, Evan. We had so many classic heavy hitters from American Horror Story. It's weird to slide into this.
Yeah.
It's tough.
It is. And um yeah, it is. I'm all for giving a new generation like a
For
chance,
sure.
but it's got to be executed the right way. Also, with
Well,
there only being 2 episodes left, I'm sorry, but I I
Like,
will
where
be,
is this going?
A, where's it going? But B, if they don't connect this to Asylum in any way, I am going to shit a brick.
Listen,
I'm serious.
here's my thing. I don't think that they're going to. Like, I don't want to break your heart, Mel's. I don't
No,
think they're
I'm
going
sure they're
to.
not. Yeah,
I almost would prefer it though, because so far, this is not good enough for Asylum.
true.
And
But what
I
I
do
would like
not
to
want to
see,
sully the reputation of Asylum.
no, you're right. But what I would like to see is maybe just a hint of something. Like, I would like to
Sure.
see perhaps when Kit disappeared at the end of Asylum,
Yep.
maybe we see him if they make it to this future or this habitable earth or place. Maybe we see,
Mm.
but give us something that
Yeah,
connects it in the timeline or connects it in the universe, because right now there's no connection in the universe at all for
there's
this.
nothing. I mean, to me, even the aliens look different. Like, this is not
They
what I
are.
remember from Asylum, right? So, and that's fine. They're a different species. I mean, we could have a story where we're overlapping these different species. That could work if they do it in the right way, right? But it is frustrating to have the name Alma come back up. I did read a good point though, where it was like there's a character named Troy in this season where like there's been three other Troys in American Horror Story. So like names get reused, but Troy is a lot more common than Alma. I am still holding out hope for the connection, at least between Red Tide and Death Valley, if not with Asylum. I also noticed, and this is another thing where I'm like, is this just a cute little nod? But the Jello cubes at the facility is 100% apocalypse vibes.
A hundred
They
percent.
also had some little black pills in those pill cups. So I think there's hope, but I don't want to get my hopes up because, again, it could just be cutesy little connections that the show has done so often
Yeah,
in the past without it being something more. So,
absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna keep watching. I just
Well,
can't.
yeah.
It's just hard to believe there's only two episodes left. We just it's crazy because we just started the. It's just
Yes.
I don't know where this is going. And
Well,
maybe that's why it feels very stories to me, because it's not even going to get as many episodes as the first half of the season. And
yes.
for you to be diving into the plot that you're diving into, if you want to do it justice, there should be more than two episodes left in the season. Because if we keep flip flopping from present day to past, what are we doing at that point? You know what I mean? Like,
I almost wish, actually, you know what? I do wish. I do wish that Red Tide was a season and that Death Valley was a season, unless we get to episode 10 and there's some amazing connection where it's like, holy shit, yeah, this did need to air all together. Red Tide could have been 8 episodes, Death Valley could have been 8 episodes. I mean, we've already seen like 1984, it's not like you don't write home to mom about it, but it was a fun
it was
season
so good
and it was
though.
nine
Yeah.
episodes and it was restrained in all the right ways. It was slasher 80s flick in all the right ways. Like, I think less episodes is better for this particular team. And I don't know if maybe they took that feedback from 1984 and ran with it a little too far, maybe. Like, yeah.
Yeah. No, that's very well could be. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm not hating it. But it's not Red Tide. And I'm telling you that Red Tide is a very hard act to follow.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like, I know we talk about this about certain episodes of Twin Peaks, which not to always be bringing Twin Peaks up, but there are certain episodes that are, you just can't follow them. And I
It's
feel like
very
Red
tough.
Tide, yeah, I feel like Red Tide is, for this to have been a double season, like this type of thing, that should have maybe been the second part of it. Maybe they should have ended on Red Tide. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
interesting. Yeah. I mean,
Because
and that's the thing, even with that finale that was so disappointing, still, the strength of those 5 episodes in Red Tide is huge. Like,
absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely, yeah.
Well, Listen, I will say, like, I'm not hating it either. Like I said, I think I need to shift my expectations going into episode 9 and try to just, excuse me, try to just see it for what it is, take it in for what it is. I don't know if I'll be able to do that, but I'm going to try.
Yeah.
And I think it might be easier because guess who's coming back next week?
I don't know. I haven't
You
looked
don't
at it.
know? Can I
Tell me,
tell
tell me.
you?
Absolutely.
Mr. Cody Fern.
All right.
Finally.
Well, I knew he would be, but I didn't know what
Yeah.
episode it would be. But okay, well, you know what?
Well,
There's
he
hope.
says
There's
recurring,
hope.
and I texted you. I was like, he better be recurring for the next 3. It was such a disappointment not to see him this week, but it looks
Yeah.
like, I mean, based on the preview for next week, it looks like he's going to be playing a very creepy, unsettling, fun character. I'm very excited.
Well, I
And
have
he's
got
in
to
black
look
and
it up
white.
now.
He is in the black and white part. So,
Yay! Okay, yay! Okay,
yes.
well that makes me
Yeah.
happy because
So
I'm
happy.
preferring the past to the present in
Yes.
this
Yeah.
part of the season. Well, I am excited too because I mean honestly, Cody Fern could make anything better, and plus it's just giving us a little anchor into those familiar faces, though. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes. Very
yeah,
smart move to put Leslie Grossman in and Angelica Ross in the present day plots. It's going to
yep,
be really nice to get. I mean, because again, Lily and Sarah are so background really at this point. We definitely get more from Sarah Paulson in episode 8, but not really enough. And so bringing Cody Fern in might be the injection of greatness that we need.
yes. Oh, I'm so excited. Well, see, now
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to. I might watch next week in real time. So,
fair enough. Yeah. Yeah, I'm definitely excited for that bit. But yeah, I was trying to think if I had any theories, but really like all I had was that sort of apocalypse connection with the Jello cubes and um of course the black pills that it looks like people are taking, although it looks like they were like blue and yellow and black pills, so that could have been a total red herring or something, but yeah.
yeah, yeah. I didn't really have any connections to anything either. I mean, and that's yeah, like I always feel unfulfilled if I leave an episode not having being able to pinpoint something. And so I mean, so far with these two, I haven't.
Well, and
So
honestly, like it was so thin for me on these two that I love to go to Reddit for American Horror Story. I love to go
me
to
too.
Reddit. There's a few shows that I will typically check out on Reddit and just see what people are saying. American Horror Story is one of them. I like to save it for the most part until after we've talked about it. But it was so thin that I was like, I'm going to see if there's something that I'm missing. But
I know.
really, there was nothing. It was a lot of Kaya Gerber shit posts. It was a lot of like, is this going to connect to Asylum? And then I sent you one. What was that one that I sent you where it was like, what was that? I can't remember now, but I was like, oh, are these connected or something? And we were just like, this is a troll, right? Like,
Well, yeah, but no, but that was the person that was like, yeah, like Kaya Gerber is the best part of this or something. Yeah, and
something like
I,
that. Yeah.
I was like, no,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry. I hate to say that because I'm sure she's lovely, but she's just
I'm
not my cup
sure.
of tea.
No,
Yeah.
I think that we've been nice enough and honest enough in our talk about her that like, yeah, she probably has other talents, but and you know
Yeah.
what? Like we said, this is maybe not the material for her, you know?
Right.
Like she might really
Right.
shine in a different kind of role. So,
I and you're right. Probably so. Probably
yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
But yeah, so I mean, I guess with our next live though, it will be the end of the season of American
I
Horror Story.
know.
I just that is just wild to me. I cannot believe it.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Oh,
know. Feels like a long, I mean, it feels like a long road because we had American Horror Stories as well, but it also feels like all of a sudden it's happening so quickly. And I think it's the 4
yeah,
episode count for sure. Like,
for
yeah,
sure. Yeah, I
yeah.
agree. Yeah.
Should be interesting though.
I know, I know. I mean, yeah, so I am looking forward to the next episode now that I will go and watch the sneak peek for it because
Yes.
usually I don't do it because I just like to try to just but I'll do it this time just because I want to see
Just
what
go
he
see,
looks
just
like.
go see
Yeah,
Cody. Yes. It's such a
that's
small
right.
snippet too. It's just enough to like wet your whistle.
Oh, I could really wet my whistle. Perfect.
All right. Well, thanks to everyone who
Okay.
joined us tonight. Thanks to everyone
Yes,
who's
thank
listening later
you.
on or watching later on. If you have any other thoughts, like would love to hear them in the comments or I guess read them in the comments. But I don't know. Do you like Kaya Gerber? Are we being horrible? Is
I
there
know.
other redeeming qualities about the present day plotline that we just don't see? Let us know.
Yeah, please do. I mean, I always love to hear other people's
Yeah.
opinions. I mean, and it usually helps me get a different perspective on some of the
Oh, for
things that
sure.
I've been thinking too. So definitely comment, let us know, because I'm down for all the thoughts, theories, and everything else. So,
Yes, yes, bring them on. Would love
yeah.
to hear how people are thinking, if people are still thinking that we're going to get connections between Red Tide, Death Valley, Asylum, all that stuff. I would love
Yeah,
to hear what you're thinking. Yeah.
me too, because as of right now, I cannot form any connection at all. I just can't. And
Not
I hate that
really.
because I
Yeah.
usually
It's
think
driving me
I've got it.
crazy.
Unless it is really, because I think it was Hear Me Roar that said, what if this is Harry's,
I
one of the
know.
things he wrote,
Yes. Right. Which is why
which
I think we brought that up a lot during Red Tide, and we maybe haven't brought it, well, we didn't bring it up tonight until now, but
yeah,
yeah, it could be. Maybe that explains the bad acting and bad dialogue, but it's supposed to be so fantastic that like all these directors and writers want to work with him. So you'd
Quentin
think it would be
Tarantino,
better. Yeah.
it would not have this dialogue if it was
Whew.
Quentin Tarantino.
I don't know. I feel like there would already be a lot more shootouts. So
Yeah, this would be totally different.
well, and one thing that stops me from thinking that too is that Harry, I mean, this was the pilot that he was working on in the first episodes, but he did mention like my main character's a real anti-hero. So I think I'm picking up on his tendencies or his behaviors or whatever. And like, I can't pick an anti-hero out of the bunch really. So
No, me
yeah,
either. Yeah,
yeah.
so
So
we'll
yeah, would
see.
love to know. Hello,
Yeah.
Dale Cooper. Thanks for joining us. We're just about to head out,
Hi.
but
I know, but thanks for coming.
yes, thank you. All right.
Well,
Well, we'll
this has
see you
been
next
so much
time.
fun. I know I
Yeah,
love doing these lives. Thank
I
you to
know.
everyone for tuning in, and we'll catch you at the end of American Horror Story, I guess. So,
Yes. See you on the other side.
oh, okay. Not if I see you first.
Oh, all
I don't
right.
know.
Here's a tune for you gals.
The biggest gets of you. Yeah.
Hmm. Coming in closer. All right.
All right. Bye,
Bye.
everybody.